escalation, WDI, ratified. What are all of these terms that my realtor keeps using with me? It's Coffee with Kelly time. Let's start with the term EMD. So EMD is an acronym that stands for Earnest Money Deposit. But that's still kind of confusing, right? What is an earnest money deposit? Well, an earnest money deposit is a good faith deposit that you, as the buyer, are making when you put forth an offer to buy a home to the seller. So essentially what you are saying is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I am so serious about my offer. I so want to be the one to buy this house that I am going to put forward a deposit up front to communicate just the seriousness of my offer. So then what happens with that deposit, right? Where does that money go? Is it refundable? I get asked that a lot. So that earnest money deposit, the check that you write or the wire that you send, is going to be held by either the title company, where you'll be performing your closing, or by the real estate brokerage. And that money is placed into an escrow account tied to you specifically and is held until you get to settlement. Now, are there times where that money is not held until you get to settlement? Well, here's the situation. As long as you follow through on the terms of your contract, that money is then applied towards your closing costs or towards the money that you are bringing to the table when you get to settlement. If, however, the contract becomes void at some point in the process, it really depends on the circumstances that led up to voiding the contract. So if you have a contingency, it could be a financing contingency, it could be an appraisal contingency, a home inspection contingency. And because of that contingency, within the number of days that are allocated in that contract, you as a buyer decide to void the contract, then that money comes back to you. If in the state of Virginia, you decide to void the contract because of your HOA docs, of which you have 3 days to review those in Virginia once you receive them, then that deposit comes back to you. However, if you just wake up one day having your morning coffee and you say, you know what, I've decided I actually just don't like that house anymore and I don't want to buy it anymore, and you don't have any contingencies, then that money, that EMD, that earnest money deposit, goes to the seller. Why is that? Well, because you voided the contract without actually having a legitimate out. And that seller has now taken that property off the market for that period of time. They've turned down other offers that they may have received, and there's a cost associated with that, especially in this dynamic market when things are changing all of the time. When you void a contract in that way, there are also some other legal impacts that can happen, ramifications, but that's for another video. This one is just about your earnest money deposit. So how can you, last question I want to answer is, does that earnest money deposit actually make a difference when you submit your contract? The answer is yes. So when I have sellers, it is one of the things that they look at. So they're going to look at obviously what your offer price is. They're going to look at how quickly you can close. They're going to look at how solid your financing is. They're going to look at what contingencies you've waived. But they also are going to look at what is your earnest money deposit, because they want to know that you are serious and that you really love this home. And that is one way of being able to communicate it. So if you want more details or want to understand how you can make that work in your favor, then please feel free to reach out to me. Like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next Coffee with Kelly.